Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains. Well, we are on the water, we are on our cruise, having an amazing time. But today, I'm gonna be bringing you some of the souvenirs, but they're really more of the artisan, the fabrics and the textiles. We're gonna be talking about the things that I found in Costa Rica and Panama, and then also in Peru. And we're going to be talking about whips, but that's going to be in another video. So today, we're just going to talk about the cultures of South America and the countries that we went to visit. So stay tuned. Hey there. Well, okay, so the Brit and I are in the middle of, well, not really in the middle. We're heading south, very, very far south, still in the Pacific Ocean. We have been through a little part of Mexico. Then we went into Costa Rica. And then we went into Peru, and now we are on our way down to Chile. And then after that, we're going to go around. Oh my gosh, this massive pterodactyl bird just flew past the window. It was huge. Anyways, that's kind of cool. We are going to go around the Drake's Passage. Now, if you don't know what that is the very southern tip of South America. It's also called the Cape Horn, I believe it is, but it's very treacherous waters. I believe it is where the three seas meet. So it's like that. It's very exciting. Anyways, we come up on the back side of that. Then we're going to head up north. So basically, if you look at South America, it kind of comes down to a point. We're heading down. Currently, we are on the west side of the country. We're going to go through the Drake's Passage. We're going to come up and head north on the eastern side of the country. Over there, we're going to go to Buenos Aires. We're going to go to Uruguay. I think we're going to go a little bit farther north, but then we're also going to go to the Falkland Islands and into Antarctica and all that kind of stuff. It's a fabulous trip, and we are on, I think we're on day, I don't know, maybe 19 or 20, something along those lines. It's a 53-day cruise, so we still have more time in front of us than we have behind us. If I didn't already tell you, and I didn't, I apologize. This is going to be a long episode, so make sure you grab yourself a cup of tea, maybe a biscuit, and join me and take a seat. And we're going to talk a little bit about some culture, some history, some textiles, and I hope it's going to be really interesting for you. It's been fascinating for me. Fascinating. So right before we left, my friend gave us this gorgeous advent calendar because she knows the Brit and I were big on tea. And it's from this Fortnum Mason. It's lovely. It came in, it looks like this. It's gorgeous. Like, I love the box. I love the box. Anyways, and inside of it, each day we have tea and biscuits. And so we have done days 1 and 2. Today, I am on day 3, which is a wonderful green tea with mandarin and these really yummy little ginger biscuits. So that's what I'm going to be drinking as I go through all of my goods. So this is the mandarin tea. It's really lovely, but the Brit doesn't really like green tea. He thinks that it's just herbs, I think, a mixture of herbs. Tea should be tea made with tea leaves. And this is green tea with mandarin. It's lovely. All right, so the first place we went to was, we went to Mexico. We didn't actually get off in Mexico. We stayed on the ship, because we live in San Diego. Mexico, not a big deal. But we went to Costa Rica. We've been there before. I love Costa Rica. I love the animals. We went on a riverboat through to the... a rainforest. I can't think of the name of it right now. The Brit will tell you. It starts with a G. A long, something like that, rainforest. We saw monkeys and birds and iguanas and snakes, and it was amazing. But the one thing that I have found in Costa Rica, specifically Panama, and actually, I take it back. We went through Costa Rica, but we did the rainforest tour in Panama. Now, these textiles are specific to Panama, and they are called molas. And it is a very traditional artisan craft that they do. And basically what they do is they have layers of fabric that they put together. So it's beautiful, but really what they do is they have these various layers of fabric, right? And then they do this hand embroidery on this. Now, the traditional molas have animals, birds, as you can see here. They also do a lot of geometric shapes. And every time we go down there, I love to find some molas. So this one here, this is a little bit different, but this one here, you can see it has the traditional shapes, a lot of just very geometrical squares. And when I was here the last time, the molas that I got just had these. They didn't have the birds and things like that in them, but I just love these. Now, this one here, what they've done is they've layered on the fabric. You can see here, there's the yellow. So some of them they actually layer on and then they stitch. And then others, they have the layers of fabric and they cut into it and you can see the layers through it. So a little bit different. This one here has the layers that are attached to the outside, but these are all hand done. I think they're absolutely beautiful. Like I said, they do a lot of animals, a lot of sea creatures. I just love the birds. This was another one that I got. And so you can see here, these are I think parrots. There's a lot of sea creatures. Now this one here, again, this is just the one layer of the fabric, and then they sewed on the birds on the top of this. There's one I'm going to show you here in a second that they actually have the layers that you go through. So what do you do with these? A lot of times you'll see them in just like a picture frame mural hanging up, right? That is one of the more popular uses. But I love these so much. So what I'm going to do is I have a black linen dress that I'm going to sew these onto. Now this one here is a little bit more geometric. These are the two, the next two I'm going to show you are the ones that have the fabric coming up and through. So this one here is a hummingbird. Now as you can see, it's got this really pretty kind of an aqua blue coming up behind it. And then you see how they actually cut through the fabric. And there's no seams. The workmanship on these is absolutely beautiful. And then you can see how, so they did some stitching on the front, and then they had the fabric coming through the back. So I'm going to choose one of these, and I'm going to add it to kind of like as a front pattern design onto this black dress. I think there's some other ones. This is the last one that I bought. I have a lot of these now because I'm just in love with them. And no two are alike. They're all different. So you can see here, they brought the fabric from the back and then they brought it into the front and then they added on more things to them. The artisanal work on these is just incredible. So I have a hard time. They love to haggle and they will always give you a bargain because I know the workmanship that goes into these, and I know that these people, I mean, this is their livelihood. I don't bargain too much because I appreciate the detail in the work. I mean, look at this that goes into it. It's just amazing to me. You can see all the stitches coming through. So depending on the size of them, these came in at about, between $15 and $20, depending on the intricacy. And then if you buy, I'll buy a lot, and then they usually give you a discount. But I don't bargain too much with them because I don't haggle too much because I totally appreciate the workmanship. This little guy here, this was $5. But so, I mean, look at that. Look at all the embroidery and the stitching. It's just beautiful. And actually, I'm even looking at the little lines there on the bird up in here, and even that is all stitched. That is $5. I have no problem paying that. So I'm going to take all of these. So I'm very excited to get these. And I'm going to take them home and I'm going to make a dress. I think I might actually also make a matching purse along with these, but I just love these. So these are called moles. M-O-L-A-S. You can look them up online. They have different exercises, projects you can do with kids where you can make them. They have a lot of them in museums. People, like I said, put them up in picture frames, which is lovely. I could possibly do it, but I just love to wear them. I think they're wonderful statement pieces. So that's the first thing. After that, we moved on to Peru. we went to the town of Lima, and we also went to Pisco, which is where they make the Pisco sour, and the Pisco, which is a fortified wine. Basically, it's like made from grapes, but whew, it is. They say that when you drink Pisco, you don't remember anything, and I actually can totally believe that. So I did get a little tiny bottle of Pisco. Anyways, we went to Peru. Now, as you know, I crochet, I knit, we weave on this channel, and I'm a huge fan of all those things. Peru is known for their weaving. You see here, I actually met this wonderful man, and he had this little tiny, very crude, if you will, very basic, like old wood, rickety wood that he's had for probably, I don't know, it's probably gone through generations. And he's making these beautiful, beautiful tapestries. Once again, I'm a sucker for it, and I have a really hard time bargaining. If I'm working with the artisan themselves, I won't bargain. Now, if we're in a market and I know that the market stalls, which we went to, and they get them from the artisan, you know, and they mark them up, then I can do a little bit more haggling, because at least I know that the person didn't actually, I'm not talking to the creator at that moment, right? All right, so let me show you some Peruvian textiles. So these guys, gorgeous. Now this is actually a pillow cover. A friend of mine was in Peru last year, and she's like, if you get a chance to go to this market and you can bring back anything, bring back another pillowcase. This was the one she bought for herself last year, and I loved it. So this one's actually for me. It's made out of a blend of alpaca and something else. It's kind of coarse. It's not something you'd want to wear on your skin, but this is the front, and then the back looks like this, and it's a pillow cover. Really well made. Very, very well made. There's a somewhere in here, there's a zipper. It's over here. Yeah, so you can see, but this is all made on a loom. You can see how it's all done up inside there. And it's alpaca. It's not baby alpaca, because it's not that soft. And it's a little bit thicker and coarser. But anyway, so I got this pillowcase for myself. Then she wanted one more that would match what she got. So I got her one that looks like this, very geometrical, but look at those colors. These are all plant dyed. So vegetables, beets, roots, you know, different things like that. This is where you're getting these amazing colors from. And then the back here. Now I got this in the Indian market. I was able to do a little bit of haggling on these guys. And then I bought one for myself. So I got one for her and one for myself. So we've got two matching pillowcases. So I don't know which one I'm going to keep for myself. This one here, and then possibly like this. And then the backs are very similar. Beautiful. Now these I got because I bought a lot of things from this one particular vendor. So I got these for about $18 a piece. I didn't think that was terribly bad at all. Then I got this beautiful wall hanging. They're big on tapestries that you hang on the walls. This is a typical Peruvian with the tall hat. Basically, it's min. So it's this really long tapestry, which ties into my pillows. So I'm not going to hang this on the wall. I'm actually going to use it as a table runner in our living room. So we have a couch that I'm going to put those pillows on. And then we have an ottoman that kind of goes across the front, where we can, we'll do like charcuterie platters and things like that. So I'm going to use this as a table runner that's going to go across the top of the ottoman to match up with the pillows. Isn't it beautiful though? But this is all done on a loom, on a very crude wood, gnarly looking thing. But it's amazing the artwork that comes off of these. I'm so humbled. I am so humbled when I go to these countries and I see this artisanal work, and it's like, okay, you guys are amazing. And this man was so sweet, and he'd been doing it. He didn't speak any English. I speak very broken Spanish, but we were able to communicate. But I got this. I didn't get this from him. I got this from I should do it this way. I got this from the Indian market, which is in a neighborhood in Lima called Miraflores. And it's more of the high-end neighborhood. It was very humbling. There's a lot of poverty. The median income per month in Peru. So in other words, this is the average income for most people in Lima and is about $1,100 to $1,200 US per month. And that is enough to sustain a family, you know, usually most of them were apartment dwellings or houses and food and things like that. So it doesn't cost a lot to live there comparatively, you know, to the United States or some of the other countries. But that's their median income. And the base income is about $300 a month. That's like their minimum wage. So I got those from the Indian market, and I, like I said, I have no problem paying price for these people because I see what they do. Of course, what else was Peru known for but alpaca? So I was able to get some amazing. Now, I got to show you guys this stuff. I am so excited about this. I might have gotten in a little bit of trouble with the thread. A little bit of trouble. We were there. We were in Peru for 3 days. The first day, okay, look at this. Would you look? Now, this is not baby alpaca. This is alpaca. But the alpacas are basically it's one of their main sources of food, I found out. Alpacas and guinea pigs. I was like, oh no, I don't want to eat either one of those. No, thank you, please. I will have this ceviche, which is a very popular Peruvian dish. If you've ever had ceviche, that's raw fish that is marinated in like a lime juice, and they usually throw in onions and cilantro and sometimes some avocado. It's really delicious. So the ceviche is from Peru, but Peruvians, they eat alpaca and they eat guinea pig. I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. In my country, both are pets. I would have an alpaca as a pet, and I've had guinea pigs as pets before I would eat them, but that's what they do there. However, alpacas, it is one of the few, when you think about shearing animals, so sheep, cashmere goats, Angora rabbits, sometimes you hear about the inhumane ways that they shear them and how it's not safe or it can be very painful for the animal. Alpacas, it is actually a very humane thing that they do, and they need to because the animals need to they need to shear their coats. So alpaca is one of the few fibers that you can get that is that is sheared humanely. And this guy right here, so I got 10 balls of this alpaca. This is not baby alpaca. This I got for 15 American dollars. $15 for the 10 balls. So I went to the Indian market, had this one merchant. Now again, this was not his goods. He collects the goods and then he sells them. So I don't have a problem bargaining with him at that point because he bargained with someone to bring it in, right? So this is alpaca. It is extremely soft. It's very, very soft. You know what? It's not going to tell you what kind of a weight this is. But I'm going to say it's probably coming in at a weight of about a 2, would you say? I am going to use this to weave. So when I went in, the first day I got this, and the Brit says, what are you going to do with it? I said, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. Then I went back to the ship. I started doing a little bit of research, and I knew we were going into the market the next day. And I thought, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my warp, and I'm just going to basically have the stripes of color. Then I went back the next day, found the same merchant, and I said, do you remember me? He said, yeah. I said, okay, you and me, we're not gonna have to bargain because we did that yesterday. So I got these guys, and this is going to be my weft. So the warp is what is under tension, right? That's going to be the different colors. And then the weft, that's going, if you want to think of like east to west, back and forth, that is going to do this. And I've got a pattern. It's kind of a diamond pattern that I'm going to make with this. And I might end up making it into a poncho, not really sure. But I'm very excited. So I got this guy here just in the red, or rojo if you speak Spanish. Yo hablo un poco español, but enough to get by. People were quite impressed with what I could speak. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so I got this here, and I got this for $15. Very exciting. So this one here, I got another 10 for $15. And each vendor, you know, you can kind of they're all going to try, because they basically work on commission. They buy these things in bulk and then they sell it in the market, and then they have to pay the rent for their market space. But they get a commission, you know. So I can appreciate the hard work, and they're there all day long and they're doing their thing, and I appreciate all of that. But I also know that I can bargain. And in Latin America, it's a game. It's almost an insult if you don't haggle with them. Like, you know, you have to kind of do your thing and you kind of walk away. And the Brit, he doesn't like it. He gets very nervous. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay full price, because we both know, me and the merchant, we both know that this is a game that we get to play. But both of us walk away feeling happy and friends and so on and so forth. All right. So I got those guys. I also wanted to get, ponchos are very popular in Peru. And, but I didn't want to get just any. And I found this one. And I love this. I absolutely love this one. Let me show you how it works. So it's basically a sweater, but it is still a poncho. You can see the diamond here at the bottom, but then it's knitted down here on the arms. And then it's got this really awesome cowl neck around it. Now listen, friends. So basically it kind of goes like this here. Isn't it? I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then it's got these sleeves here, right? Look at all the colors. Now, this is made from alpaca, not baby alpaca, because baby alpaca is a lot more expensive because you get less of it. But I just thought it was gorgeous. All right, I paid $28 US dollars for this. I love it. I'm very excited about it. And they had it in teals and blues and whites. They had it in all different colors, and a lot of the vendors had them. But I liked this one the best. I liked the blue red, and I liked the colors up here. And the nice thing about this too is that this can come up and over. So you can come up and over your head like this, or you can wear it down around your shoulders. So this was my alpaca poncho that I got in Peru. This guy here, this is a very typical geometrical style in Peru, also made from alpaca, and it is reversible. So it kind of goes around you like this. Let me see if I can show you. It goes around like so. It's got these two arms, yeah, and then you can just take it and flip it over like that, right? It's like gorgeous. And, you know, or you can change the color, whatever you want to do. Like you can kind of go like this. You can switch it up, and you can kind of have it come over your shoulder and do one of these. Isn't it love? Okay. How much did I spend on this baby? $19. Alpaca. Alpaca, $19. Thank you very much. Very excited. And I got this from mi amigo, who I got the yarn from. He and we had a little bit of a bargain. So of course, the more you buy, you know, the better a discount you get. And I don't have a problem with that. You know, when you find a vendor that has a lot of the things that you like, you know, then I'm like, okay, look, I want to get this and this and this and this from you. Give me a deal. So the first day I bought this and a bag of the yarn. So on the second day I went back to him and I said, all right, do you remember me? Let me open up my thing here. I said, I want to get some of the red yarn. And in addition, I was like, all right, fine. What are you going to give me? These guys are very traditional to Peru, and these are called Torito de Pucara. Torito de Pucara. And it means, torito means bull, right? And it's basically a Peruvian bull. Now, these guys, apparently they line the roofs. They put them all over the roofs, over doors, over houses, things like that. They stand for protection, happiness, prosperity, and fertility. So this is a very popular gift that you would give to somebody who's getting married, maybe starting a new house, something like that. And they would put it over their doorway over their or on their roof, so that anybody who dwells inside will have prosperity and happiness and fertility and yada 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 yada. Anyways, I thought it was cute, and I have this little area in one of our little family room, little bar area, where I collect little trinkets like this guy, but he's handmade, hand painted. I think he was like $2 US. This is what they look like, friends. I know. And then I got this little wooden alpaca, and he's hand carved, and it's got the little alpaca and silver across the top. He's going to go in my little catch area. I have a little house from Thailand. I have a thing from Japan. So just little trinket things that I keep, but I don't have a lot. I just kind of keep them in that little area there. And because the guy he was like, okay, lady, you're so nice. He gave me these. Oh, they're coasters. That's fine. They're wooden. That's fine. They're not made in China. I like the fabric. I think they're kind of cute. And I got them as a freebie. So thank you very much. I'm very happy about that. All right. I also wanted some belts. Correa, we call them in Peru. There's another name for it, but they call them correa. And these are big. These are hand woven, again, hand woven tapestry belts that I have to pull the tape off of this guy. It was a protection, but I got this one because, so if you've ever heard of, there's a form of weaving called inklet weaving, and it's the loom itself is very tiny, and it's very limited what you can do. Some people absolutely love them, but you can do things like bracelets, belts, guitar straps, luggage straps, purse straps, because they're really only going to be about that wide. So I got this, and I really loved it. This belt. So I got this color here, and this one here, because I always, I'm always about pink. Always about color and pink and that kind of stuff. So wear with jeans or wrap it around a dress or something like that. These were, because I bought two, and this was from another vendor like right next door, because my friend, he didn't have belts, so he sent me over to his friend. I got these two for $10 a piece, 20 bucks for these guys. But I love them, and they are hand woven. All right, then, now the Brit was not a big fan of these. I loved these. This is a different type of Peruvian tapestry or textile, and this is, they take the actual belt. So the belt itself is probably not made in Peru, but what they do, or maybe it is, but that's not the technique. What they do is then they have to do this hand embroidery on it. And this is very, very common here as well. So this is all hand embroidery on the top. $5. $5, come on. I love this. So you're probably going to be seeing these around. So these were my Peruvian, I did get a lot. I got a lot in Peru, which is why the Brit was like, I said, oh, it was on my bucket list. It was things I knew I wanted to get in Peru, and you're not going to really be able to find them. Oh, it's making my nose itch. Not going to be able to find them in other places, most likely. All right, so then I got this. Now, because it's Christmas, or it's close to Christmas, I did a little bit of Christmas shopping. This is a Peruvian blanket, and it's made from alpaca. This is very similar to the pattern that I'm going to make when I was telling you about the different stripes of fabric. It's going to be very similar to this with the overlay of the red. So here they used, you can see here some browns and grays and whites and creams and whatever, and then they overlaid it with the pink. Now I found another vendor that I liked, really sweet lady. She and I worked together quite a bit, and she gave me a bargain. And again, these were not her own textiles. These were something that she brought in. So I got one for Mimsy, and I got one for myself in this gorgeous red with the overlay. So you can see down here, and this is actually made out of alpaca. And these she gave to me for $15 a piece for the blanket. It's a big blanket. I mean, it's big, right? See? It's large. And so this one here has a lot of these beautiful teals, browns, oranges, and everything coming through here. And then they did the overlay with this particular pattern. And this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. Oh, and see here, it says alpaca. And this is a nice suede, leather suede, you know, tag. And it says hecho en Peru, made in Peru. So this is very much what I'm going to be doing with the yarns that I got. I got this for myself, just to wrap myself up in, you know, when I'm watching TV, or I could use it for a picnic blanket or anything like that. So I got these 2 blankets from the lady, these 2 here, and I got some other little goodies. Again, these are all made out of alpaca. This here, and it's all, now they probably have a knitting machine, not gonna lie, but you have to pay a lot more if you were be in the States with this. I loved all the colors. I got this for myself, and I loved the hood here. So I got this, and then I got one that's very similar for Mumsy. In her, again, more of her colors. I loved the ombre look on this, and it's got kind of a Peruvian scene across the top here, if you can see that. And then I loved all the ombre colors running through it. And then the cute little pockets in the front. And then it actually has a hood as well. So I got this sweater, and it looked small because my mom is quite small. So I got those 2 sweaters and those 2 blankets, and she gave them to me for $70, which is not, I mean, that's because the blankets themselves were $20 a piece, and then these were $20 a piece, the sweater. So she gave me like $10 off. As a thing, they were always very big on giving thank yous, which I thought was so nice. She gave me these sweet little, these are called worry dolls. And she gave me 3 of these little guys. They're so cute. So I don't know, maybe and they have pins on the back. So I could put these, I don't know, like on a garment, but basically a worry doll is something that you wear and is supposed to ward off any bad spirits or anything like that. So the Peruvian culture, the country of Peru, is predominantly Catholic, very, very, very Catholic. However, they do a lot of reincarnation. They also believe in reincarnation, and they also believe in idols and gods and things like that, because they originally, their heritage is Inca Indians. And so, you know, they had a lot of the, like they actually had a lot of pyramids, tombs where they would bury people with, you know, goblets and pottery and gold, lots and lots and lots of gold, because they felt that, you know, in the afterlife they needed to have this. So when I asked one of our guides, I said, but it's a Christian, or it's actually a Catholic country. And so the whole thing about, like, you know, the afterlife and reincarnation kind of flies in the face of Catholicism. And they said, yes, it does. But so that's where they pull in from their Inca roots. So I believe the missionaries came over and introduced, and the monks introduced them to Catholicism, but they were still able to keep in, which I think is great. It's a very rich country in culture and heritage, and they're wonderful people. They're very gracious and proud of their country, of their heritage, and I love it. But so they got these cute little worry dolls that she gave me. And then she also, this really sweet lady, gave me this cute little llama. He's on a keychain, but whatever. I think he's cute. This guy. Whoa, a lot of alpaca flying around here. Oof. And then she gave me these guys, which I love these. These are shawl pins, if you will. And these are, and she goes, no plástico. I said, yo entiendo, I understand. These are made out of, she kept saying, torito, torito. I'm like, I understand they're made out of bull horns. So they're not bone, they're made out of bull horns. But these are cute little, so she told me I could pick out 2. And I did, I picked these 2 out. So these are gonna be like a shawl pin that you tuck into, and then these cute little pins like that. Very exciting. All right, so this is just Peru. We haven't been to Uruguay yet, or Buenos Aires, or the Falkland Islands, so there's gonna be more stuff coming around. It's very exciting. Isn't it great though? I hope you guys are enjoying seeing all these wonderful little trinkets. I mean, maybe you've never been to this part of the world, and I feel very fortunate that we can go to this part of the world. So I thought I'm going to show you, you know, what they're about. So there's a website called Novika that you can purchase these kind of textiles from them. But when you're there in front of them and you're meeting the artisans, and I figure my money, all of my money is going to go to them, as opposed to a portion of my money is going to go to them, and then a portion goes to the company that, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I love supporting the artists and the things like that. All right, well, there you have it. So many amazing things. Aren't they just gorgeous, and all the colors and all kinds of things? So more videos to come as we travel to more countries. But don't forget, I did finish my whips for the month of November, so stay tuned, because the next video I'm going to be showing you is all about the whips that I was able to finish on this trip. So we'll see you soon. As always, this is Kimberly with Knit for Brains.